Hello, sunshine.
Success!
Yay. I don't know what's going on, but it's really annoying to me. I'm having all
I'm
kinds of
sure.
crazy technical issues today. I tried to help my wife with logging into her health app, and that wasn't working. And someone
Ugh.
else needed help with digital signatures, and that's not working. And
Mm,
now Zoom is not working. And so technology is supposed to make my life easier. But guess what? It doesn't
not
always.
today.
Not
Yep.
today, but I've got two other people trying to log on too. So give me just a second while I try
Sure.
to help get them uh, situated too. But I will check on that link when we hang up today, like reset it.
So
I don't know
I
why.
think that it's what it's telling me is that it's not secure.
Ah, okay.
Um, and so it won't do the pass through, which is so annoying. But it works when I click on a
Oh, okay. I got it.
Facebook link to it. Um,
Works when you do what? Say that again.
when I go to Facebook
Yeah.
and find a link. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Sorry, girls. I was like, am
You don't
I?
need to say sorry. I'm having major technical issues today. Trust me. So
Oh well, it always.
everything that could go wrong with technology has gone wrong this morning. So, and I've been dealing with it for like 2 hours. So I had no idea
Ugh.
that nobody could get in. So I'm so sorry, but I'll check that link. Thanks, Kim, for that feedback too. Like I will make sure that I check that link when we hang up today so that I can make sure it works. It works through Facebook, you're telling me, Kim, but when you type in RE Coach Create or
Yeah,
recc zoom.com, it doesn't go anywhere.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I would concur.
That is a problema for me. But I will work on that for sure. Um, okay, I got one more person I'm trying to let in here. Forgive me. Um, it would be the day where I expected a bunch of people to show up too that nobody could get in, right? Um, Story of my life, but I'm glad you're here. Big thing is this session today. Obviously, all you've heard over and over and over again is that we have to continue to insert our value. We have to continue to insert and show our worth. We have to fight for our money. We have to make sure that they understand what our value is. We have to keep providing valuable services. Like raise your hand if you heard that over and over and over and over and over again, right? So that's kind of where we are right now is okay, so what does our value look like? What does that mean to insert your value and show your value? And so I want to talk a little bit first about um expectations, right? Um, Texting all the people that can't get in. Hold tight. So sorry. Sorry. Um, the first thing is I think what we should do is address what do you think your clients are expecting, right? So let's talk about that. Unmute yourselves if you don't mind. Like, let's talk about what is it that you think your clients are expecting in terms of value? What are they looking for?
Like, what are
Advice,
they?
skills, negotiation skills.
Negotiation skills is one for sure. Bryson, what were you going to say?
I was just asking, like, are we talking about in general with the home buying process?
Yeah, or home buyers or home sellers. It doesn't matter. Just
Home sellers?
specifically, what are they looking for when they think of value? What are they wanting? What are their expectations?
Mhm. The highest dollar, the price that they like set, like they want that and more.
Yeah, if they're a seller, they want the most money possible, 100%. They want to get
Yeah,
even above that, right? Which we're trying to set their expectations of like, here's our list price. Your offer price is probably going to come in under that. And then you're going to have some concessions. So we're probably going to end up here, unless it's in a neighborhood where we're still in multiple offers or price range, right? But all sellers want the maximum amount of money. Buyers also want a deal, right? They want to feel like they got a discount. They want to feel like that they're getting a great deal. What are they looking for in terms, besides being a great negotiator? What are some of the things that we think that they're looking for from us in terms of value. They're usually wanting some other things from us. Like what separates us from, go ahead, Rachel.
Yeah, I think the concept of I am dedicated to them exclusively.
Yes.
So I have no other things that are on my plate, just very focused on just them, their story, their needs. And that's my goal is to make them feel like that.
Yes.
Whether or not that's actually possible, but they just think I am the only thing she's got going on.
Yeah, so they want undivided attention. They want to feel like they're your only client, even though you and I both know they're not our only clients.
Ideally,
right?
They're not.
They definitely can't be. We can't afford to feed our families with just one client. That's not a business, right? But the 100% the way you said it is perfect. Is that I agree. Like they want to feel like they're your only client. Even though you're working with lots of other people, they don't want to feel like you're juggling them with 50 other people. They want to feel like I get your undivided attention. How about communication? What are they expecting from us in terms of communication?
Constant communication.
Constant. Like they want you to over communicate, right? Those are their expectations. They don't simply want you to answer when like call them back. They want you to answer when they call you, right? They want to make sure that um, you are over communicating, that you are being proactive in anticipating what kind of things you need to communicate to them. So I would tell you in terms of inserting your value, I would go through each step of my process on the home buying process and on the home selling process, and I would identify where are some areas in each section of my process that I can really roll out the red carpet, right? In what ways can I make them feel like they are my only client, that I am dedicated to them? What ways can I be super impressive to them? Which ways can I really insert a differentiation among me and other agents? How do I stand out from them? What is a service that not only gets them a 10 from them, but what's a level of service that's going to get a 10 plus all their um uh sorry, what's going to get referrals to all their friends and family and everyone they know, right? And I typically will ask my clients on the front end, explain to me how to get a win with you. What does a 5-star review look like to you? How do I earn that from you? If I want to be in your life, and I tell them this, if I want to be in your life forever, I want to come to your kids' graduation parties. If they have toddlers, I want to come to your kids' graduation parties. I want to come to baby showers. I want to be a part of your family for the next few decades. What kind of service are you expecting from me in order to earn that right, that privilege? Imagine being asked that. What kind of answers you get back from them, and then listen to their responses, right? I want you to look out for me. I want you to anticipate my needs. I want you to know what it is that I'm concerned about or what my fears are. And I want you to have a solution in place for those, right? So asking those kinds of questions are going to open you up to really not just meeting expectations, but telling you the expectations so that you can exceed them, right? First and foremost, we need to understand what is a win with them. How do we get a 5-star review from them? What are they looking for? Okay, one of the other ways that you can ask from them what you're looking for is, what have your experiences been with other agents in the past? Let's talk about that, right? Because I think when you ask that question, you get a lot of responses that you didn't even know that was their experience. You had no idea they've been through this before. And if you don't ask them about previous experiences with other agents, how can you ensure that you're not just like that agent that really upset them or caused them problems or that they didn't like? Right? I would rather know right up front that they had an issue with another agent that never called them back or never they never sent them any properties. They had to send all the properties to the agent, and that was a big deal to the client. Remember, the clients don't understand everything that we do in this process, in this transaction, right? they don't really know everything that we do. And if you ask people, they will say, well, what did your realtor do for you? The first thing I hear all the time is, oh my gosh, they didn't even help me find my house. I found it myself. That's really what they think we do. Oh, well, we help you find the property. I've been doing this a long time. That's the least of what I do. Finding the property is actually the easiest part of the whole process. The rest of it is the part you need my help for, right? You guys as consumers have access to everything, every house that's on the market, unless it's an off-market property, you have access to that. So you don't need me to find the property. You also do not need this big, beautiful brain and all the skills and knowledge and experience that I have. You don't need that just to open the door, right? To get in to see the property. But these are the two things that consumers identify as being at the height of their list of something they expect the agent to do for them. Find them a property and show it to them, right? But for us, that's at the very bottom of our priority list because that does not mitigate risk for them. It does not save them from lawsuits. It does not protect them from making a bad decision. It does not help them negotiate better. Those two things, finding the property and opening the door, are the basic skill set that an agent should have at the very minimum. So it's at the bottom of my list of priorities. But we have to, there's a disconnect between the expectation of the client and us making sure that they understand everything else that we do, right? So real quick, I want to talk about what are, again, some ways we can roll out the red carpet to really insert our worth here. Like, what do you need this big, beautiful brain and all these years of experience for, right? What do you need a help of a realtor for? So, number one, I start with what's your previous experience with an agent, right? Asking them, like, what has it been like before? Have you spoken with any other agents? Have you worked with agents in the past? Tell me about that experience. Was it good, bad, ugly? Just give me the skinny on what your experience was. And then I will ask additional questions. Tell me more about what you loved about that agent or what you liked about that agent. Tell me what didn't work for you because I want to get a win with you. I want to get a 5-star review from you. So talk to me more about what it is that I can do to earn that, right? So I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to take notes on that. I'm going to really pay attention to what they're telling me is their big concerns. And then from there, I'm going to make sure that they understand why you need me, right? So this is where you're going to have to make sure your messaging is presenting to the public why people need an agent. I want you to identify what could go wrong for somebody who doesn't have an agent. You need to, it's not a scare tactic or fear induced. It's more about what are the ways that we are here to serve you and protect you? What are the things that we know to look for and do that you probably don't because you've never bought a house before, right? We want them to understand. I think it starts with doing homework, right? It starts with doing your due diligence, meaning I'm going to help them investigate everything about that property that they may have a concern about, right? So I'm letting them know what types of inspections are normal or common, what other things are options for them, that maybe it's a less common inspection, but it might be important to them, right? Maybe they do want to get a lead-based paint inspection. Maybe they want to have the bless you. They want to have the septic inspected, what have you, right? But do you think that the basic consumer knows all of the things that they should be investigating? Probably not, right? If they bought 5 or 6 houses in your area, they're probably very familiar with it. Oh yeah, we did a radon test before. We did a septic inspection before. We've done this before. But your job is to help them do as much homework as possible, meaning you are the source of the information of where they can get it, the source of the source, right? And go to this link to find out crime statistics if that's important. Go to this link to look at schools and read the reviews about schools. Go to this link to, ask your insurance agent if there's ever been a clue report on the house. If you don't know what I'm talking about, raise your hand and I'll explain it real quick. Okay. A clue report is basically a report that the insurance company has that will demonstrate if there's ever been an insurance claim filed on that property before. A seller, well, like an owner of a property, can typically get it from their insurance person, but potential buyers can't, right? It's not so easy. They have to go through their insurance person and see if they'll pull it on that address. Because, but you as just a general home buyer don't really have access to a clue report. So how do you know if the house had burned down and been rebuilt, or if they had a flood, or they had an electrical fire, or they had a tree fall on their house? That happened to me. I had a 65-foot tree fall on my house. So I'm just saying, if you were a potential home buyer, how would you know that that happened if it wasn't disclosed? And I'm sorry, there are sellers that don't disclose things. So how can you protect yourself even further, right? Is that something that most agents know to ask for? No, right? And I wouldn't ask for it on every property, but if you suspect, or if you heard, maybe you saw some water damage in the basement or in the crawl space and you just want to know, has there ever been anything? Or if there was some kind of indication that there might have been a previous insurance claim, that's where you can go find out on a clue report. And it's CLOO, by the way, not CLU. Okay. But asking for an insurance claim, asking if it's ever had any, is also uncovering information that other people don't know to ask. Are you also calling homeowners associations and verifying the dues, or are there any special assessments coming up? Most agents that I know are lazy and they don't do that. This is really sad, but they just will say the homeowners association is $85 a month. Here's the bylaws. You can read them. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. But they do not actually make a call to the HOA to verify what the monthly dues are, what's included, and are there any special assessments planned or anything coming to vote in the near future. I have a lot for sale right now in North Carolina that they're trying to assess all the property owners $8,000 to maintain the roads. Right? I have had 72 phone calls from agents that, now, by the way, this assessment has not been voted on yet, has not been approved. So this is in the works, right? So it's not approved. So it technically does not have to be disclosed by any seller because it's unknown if this is actually going through. But a good buyer's agent will call this HOA and verify, is there anything coming down the pike? Is there anything planned that is yet to be approved yet, but is considering? Wouldn't you want to know that as a buyer, that there's an $8,000 assessment potentially sitting out there on this property? Yes. But most agents are not going to do the work that is involved in calling the HOA to find out, right? So again, these are extra steps that you can take that demonstrate to the buyer, look, I want to protect you, right? If you are coming from a place of protection and guarding and let me help you do your homework, you are already inserting value where other agents are not. That makes sense to everybody? You really need to help. Hey, use Chat GPT to your advantage. If you've never done this before, first of all, I'm going to tell you, Chat GPT is like my best friend. We converse 92 times a day. I promise you, I use it for about 5,000 projects a month. Most of the content is all written by me. A lot of it is organization, summarizing, formatting, suggestions, things like that. One of the things that I love using Chat GPT for is HOA documents. You can dump the entire, if you have the paid subscription to Chat GPT, which is $20 a month, $20. I couldn't hire a person for $20 a month for what Chat GPT does for me. And all of these, with the paid subscription, there are all these other GPTs that are ancillary products, almost like apps, if you will, if you're not familiar. I know this is not a Chat GPT class, but I just want you to understand. If you're not familiar with it, the GPT is almost like an additional app that you can use. They have ones that talk to Canva, they have ones that talk to Excel, they have ones that talk to all these other apps that will do things for you. My point is, if you have the paid subscription, you can dump the HOA bylaws and rules in it and ask Chat GPT to summarize it in less than one page, or summarize it into bullet points of things that are of most importance related to fines or rules. If you often, these HOA documents are 90 some pages long, right? Do you think your clients really reading 97 pages worth? Some are, most aren't. right? So what I will do is dump in the HOA documents into ChatGPT and ask them to summarize it into, pare this all down into a bulleted list, or what are the things that are most important to a potential home buyer in this neighborhood that might affect them, right? Go ahead, Rachel.
Would you recommend the same thing with the CCNRs?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And I usually will ask it for 20 bullet points that are the most important. Now, when I send this back to my client, the first thing I'm going to say is, you should read the entire document. It is your obligation to read this entire document. But for sake of time, I've gone ahead and summarized it for you, right? But feel free, and please do read the entire document to make sure you're not missing something. Don't skip that step. That's important. Let them know that it is their responsibility. But for the sake of time, I have reviewed it. Remember, take credit for the ChatGPT. I have reviewed it and I've summarized it into these 20 bullet points that I think are going to be most important to you, right? Or how about this? You have a client that owns, let's say they own a dog grooming business and they have a big trailer for their commercial business. You can literally dump the HOA docs and ask the question, according to these rules and regulations, are trailers allowed? Do I have to skim through 98 pages to find that? No, ChatGPT is going to do it for me. Right? Think about the time that saves, right? And is that a value added service that you gave to your client? Hey, today I reviewed the HOA rules and regulations that are 92 pages long, and I found the answers to your 3 questions. Yes, you can have a Great Dane and a pit bull. Yes, you can have a trailer and your RV can be parked, but you have to file for a permit. That's all they needed to know, right? But remember, if you're putting the onus all back on the buyer to read through the documents and let me know if you have any questions, are you helping them? Are you assisting them dig through that information and sift through it? They are sifting through mortgage. They're sifting all the mortgage information. They're sifting through all the documents and paperwork for you and the mortgage company. They're sifting through houses 24/7. They have a lot going on up there, right? So anything that you can do to help relieve some stress, some pressure, navigating all the noise and the words, the better off your client is going to feel, and feel like you're there to look out for them, right? So where can you, in your process, where can you insert, this is why you need me, right? The other thing you want to do is identify for your buyers, and again, on the front end, you want to identify for them potential pitfalls that could come up. This is why you need an agent. In my opinion, I feel like you need to have a piece of collateral material in your toolbox that says, this is why you need a realtor, not why you need an agent, a realtor, right? I'm going to say that for my realtor folks, but this is why you need an agent. And you're going to identify literally 50 problems that could happen in the home buying or home selling process, right? And you're going to list those. And I know it's going to come across as a scare tactic or fear induced, but what you want them to know is, listen, I have a solution and I have experience to help you avoid every one of these, right? You're not going to tell them what your solution is because then they don't need you, right? But you're going to tell them, these are all the things that could go wrong in the purchase of a home, or things you could be sued for, or things that could happen. And this is why I'm here. I'm here to protect you through all that. I'm here to help you navigate all of that. I'm here to help you avoid those things. And by working with me, I have the experience to help you avoid these problems. Sorry, baby, you can shut the door. My bad. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, again, they need to know why you need to make sure that they see you as somebody who does more than just opening the door and helping them find the house, because they can do all of that themselves. There are apps out there that will let them open the door themselves if they upload their driver's license. They don't need you for that, right? We want them to need us for everything. So I want you to solve problems, let them know that you have a solution to the problems that could happen. You have a way to avoid some of the issues that they're going to run into. All right, let's look at your service as a whole. Remember, you're going to ask these people, what do I do to get a win with you? How can I get 5-star recommendation from you? How can I get all your future referrals? You're going to ask that. You're going to listen. You're going to take notes. but you're also going to evaluate each step of your process. So we're going to talk about buyers for a second. Each step of your process, how can you roll out the red carpet for them and really love bomb the crap out of them in a way that says, this person is on it, right? This is why I hired this person. And so I'm going to go back to right when the very first minute that the lead comes in. How are you responding to it? Are you sending a text message because you're too afraid to pick up the phone? Are you sending a video text that has your face in it? Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself to you. I know this is a scary process. I'm really excited for you to get started, and I'm going to be here with you every step of the way. Right? That's just a quick introduction. They see my face, they hear my voice, they can see my mannerisms and how I talk. I am human, right? I'm not a bot, right? They get inundated with so much automated technology and 1,000 emails and 1,000 text messages, but are they getting video text? Probably not, right? So that's one way you can separate yourself. Let them know you're human, right? Are you sending a thank you note or a gift or a welcome aboard? Welcome as my client. Is there a way you can elevate what you're doing and how you're onboarding them, right? What does your handoff to the lender look like? Right? Is it just, hey, let me connect you to my lender and you send the contact? Or do you start a group text or a group email? Or do you get on a Zoom call with both of them? Hey, I just want to introduce you to this person. Do you have your lender send a video text introduction to them? Is there continuity of service from you to your lender? Or are you amazing and incredible and you hand off to your lender and they're a drag? Because if you're working with somebody that's like that, you need to find a new lender. They should have a continuity of service that mirrors your level of service, right? Make sense? So break down the parts of your process. So, okay, the lead comes in, you have showered them with thank yous, whatever. What is your next step with how you're going to let them know how you guys are going to work together? What's your next step? Are you just sending them random properties through auto notification? Or are you actually getting on the screen with them and looking at properties together and saying, give me feedback about what you think? What do you like about this? What do you not like about this? Are you going through at least 10 listings with them online first, side by side, and getting feedback? Or you just say, let me know which houses you want to see, and you jump in a car and you go show them? A lot of agents are just sending an auto notification. Let me know if you see something you like. I'll be happy to set up an appointment. And what I'm asking you is, are you digging deeper to find out what they like? What do they like about this particular house or not this house? That will help you help them pare down the list of results that come up in their search better, because you have a better idea of what they like and what their feedback is, right? You don't have to go through 600 listings to get that. Hey, let's pop on real quick. If you don't mind, I'll share my screen and we can look at some listings together for just 5 or 10 minutes and get some feedback about what you like or don't like, so that I have a better understanding of what you're looking for. Think about those two experiences. One is, I just send you an auto notification and tell you to let me know what you like. The other one is, let's look at them together, give me feedback, and let me take notes about what you like and don't like. Which one would you rather have? Right? And that's what I want you to do, is put yourself in the position of your client. I want someone to roll out the red carpet for me, right? Now, rolling out the red carpet looks different to different people. I had an agent that used to work for me, and she hired a driver every time she went out to show properties, like for an out of town relocation client that she was going to be spending 2 or 3 days each time with. She would hire a driver for those days so that she could talk to the people in the car, ask questions, give them a tour. She didn't have to worry about driving, right? Imagine how much more time you have when you can dedicate in the car. That's the other mistake that a lot of agents make, in my opinion. When it comes to relocation clients, or even just local people, agents will just say, just meet me at the house, right? You're missing out on an opportunity to get feedback from them after each showing. You're missing an opportunity to continue to pour into them as a client, to learn about them. The more time they spend in your car, the more you learn who the decision maker is, how people tick, the psychology of how they interact with each other, who's in charge of between the two, who is going to be more difficult to please. You learn their nuances, you learn some of their mannerisms, you get to know them, right? Are you not better equipped to serve them when you know them? Sometimes these people are not your friends. They were referred to you, or they're a relocation client that's coming in on Friday and they want to fly back home on Sunday with a house under contract. You have a limited amount of time. If you just have your clients meet you at each house, you don't have a lot of time to interact with them or get to know them, right? So is there a way? I'm not saying you need to hire a driver. That may be something you consider doing for certain clients, but that's what I mean by, is there a place where you can insert not just value, but elevate your level of service to in a way that really separates you from other people? It could be as simple as just, do you give them snacks and water? You don't want hangry clients in your car, right? Do you make sure you leave time for lunch so that they can decompress for a little bit and talk about the houses we looked at so far before we go look at 6 more, right? Are you leaving time for a quick coffee break or a bathroom break or whatever? Those things matter, and they're the little details that are going to make you stand out. But I want you, and really, I have a whole class on really ways that you can, we don't have time for it today, but really ways that you can elevate your level of service and ways that you can really roll out the red carpet with specific kind of strategies, which I'm happy to share with you guys later. But what I want you to do is go through every step of your process and ask yourself, where can I separate myself from the rest of the agents that do this? In what way can I stand out in a really impressive way? In what way can I really demonstrate my worth to my clients? Like, in what way can I show them that I'm not the lazy agent who doesn't return calls, who's not competent, who doesn't know how to navigate this process? Are there ways that I can show them that they are grateful that they hired me, right? In what ways do I keep pouring into them that says, man, we could have hired anybody, but we hired her or him for this reason, right? That's what you want. But you need to make sure, if you don't start with the expectations of your client, you could be what you think is rolling out the red carpet and you're not even close because you didn't even ask them what is it that they're expecting. And the other thing that I like to ask them is, what is your biggest, especially the first time home buyer, what's your biggest fear in buying a home? What are you afraid of? What is your biggest concern about this process? Because you know what, maybe their biggest concern is, I'm worried that I'm going to get in over my head or spend, the house that I'm going to fall in love with, I really can't afford. Or I'm worried that I'm going to buy a lemon. I'm worried that I'm going to buy a house that needs a lot of work or something's wrong with it. When you ask them what their biggest fears are, you then are prepared to help alleviate those fears, right? Excuse me. Then you are then prepared to make sure that you put things in place to make sure that that fear is not realized, right? If a client tells me, I'm really afraid that I'm going to buy a house that has all kinds of things wrong with it, I'm going to let them know, well, one thing I can assure you is that I only work with the best inspectors in town that are ASHI certified. I explained to them what ASHI certified means, right? I want to make sure that my inspectors are part, just like the Realtor Association is another professional organization. ASHI is another certification that your inspectors can get. And I want you to know that I only work with the inspectors that I think are very thorough and are going to allow you to ask additional questions that are going to uncover anything that you might be concerned about, right? I want to alleviate whatever fear they have. I want them to know that I work with people that are going to make sure that they are going to have a smooth transaction and that they are also protected by the people that I work with and I recommend, right? You want to take control. If you've been with me for any time at all, you've heard me say this 15 times. Kim probably hears it in her sleep. You want to take control of anything that you can in this transaction, right? You don't want to leave it up to chance to the rest of the people. It's very important that you have great relationships with your vendors, but you don't want to leave things up to the vendor not knowing if it matches your level of service, not knowing if your client's going to be super impressed when they also meet with your lender or your inspector or your title company or whatever that is. You want them to know that you've vetted everybody that you recommend and that you only recommend people that match the same level of service that you've become accustomed to from me, right? You want to reassure your clients that you were the right person that they hired. As we get further and further into the changes of our industry, your buyers and sellers are going to become more savvy. They're going to interview multiple people. The days of them just talking to one realtor and the first one they talk to are probably going to be gone. They're going to interview multiple people. And it's going to be crucial for you to make sure that you know what your value and your worth is and how to communicate that to your clients. It is going to be imperative that you can explain to a client why you're the right person to hire and show it to them. They are going to interview multiple people. They're going to put you against each other and say, well, I'm talking to 5 other agents. I'm not sure who I want to hire yet. You've got to be very good at explaining why you're the right one for the job, right? You've got to connect with these people on a personal level. And that is why a simple text message is not going to work. A video text, offering to get on Zoom with them or FaceTime with them, pointing out things for them. So pointing out things is a prime example of inserting value. I showed a house once to a couple that backed up to an incredibly busy road. And this was this couple's favorite house. It's been the one they've been talking to me about for 2 weeks. They knew they loved this house. They were obsessed with this house. They knew every detail about this house because they've been studying it for 2 weeks. They were ready to write an offer on this property. And so we go to look at it. Finally, it had been coming soon. We finally get in to go see it. They love everything about it. They're still drooling all over it. And I said, let's step out in the backyard for a second. We go out in the backyard, and all of a sudden, these big Mack trucks are pouring on the street behind the house. And the house backed up to a very busy road. And I literally said, I just need to know how you, because you haven't been out here yet in the backyard. Like, you looked at it through the windows, but you didn't come out here. And I need you to step out on this porch to see if this is going to be an issue for you. And I realized in that moment, they were shocked. First of all, they said, I can't believe that you would bring up something that could potentially cost the sale for you. And I said, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure this is the right house for you. I'm here to make sure that you've thought through all the things, because buying a house is a very emotional process, right? People buy on emotions. They can visualize their kids playing in that backyard, right? They can see their family sitting around the table for Thanksgiving dinner, right? They are visual when they walk through a home, they are envisioning their family living there. They're envisioning themselves having a lifestyle there. And so you need to tap into that and understand that and what that means for them. It's a psychology thing. But one of the things from that example is that I was able to explain to them and show them just by pointing out something that I think might be a concern to them. It's the same as I would do for somebody who's considering a house with a really steep driveway, or some feature about the house that I think might cause a problem for them to sell it to somebody else in the future. And I want them to know, listen, most of my clients are my clients for life, meaning you and I are going to be in each other's lives for a long time. At some point, you're going to call me and you're going to ask, if you buy this house, you're going to call me and ask me to help you sell it somewhere down the line in the future. And I need you to understand that this house might be perfect for you. It's very eclectic. It's very unique, whatever the thing is. But is this the right house for the masses? Are you going to have difficulty selling it in the future? Have you considered this, this, and this? I don't want you to look at it as though you're talking them out of selling something and you're really shooting yourself in the foot. What you're doing is inserting for them that you're willing to check out all the things. And if that costs you a sale, that's okay. I'm checking it out on your behalf and helping you make the best decision because I want you to find the right house. They need to know that you're on their team. They need to know that you have their back and that it might cost you the sale of that house. But that's not what the priority is for you. The priority is finding the right fit. When people understand, and this is why the other day, if you did not have a chance to listen to my talk on the NAR lawsuit, I will repost that link today. But this is why I said in that presentation 5 times, you have got to stop talking to your clients, leading with, or the focus on, or the emphasis of about how you get paid. They don't care. That is not what's important to them. They want you to eat, but that is not their priority. You getting paid is at the bottom of the list in their fears of buying a house, right? But if your focus is on your paycheck, are you really looking out for your client's best interest? No. And so my point is, yes, do you have to talk about how you get paid? Yes, absolutely. But if you lead with that, if that is your focus, if that's your emphasis, you've already lost, right? And the biggest thing you've lost is the trust of your client to know that you're putting my interests above yours. And that's what a client wants to know. Are you looking out for me or are you looking out for yourself? They have to know that you are my first priority. What you want is my first priority. Yes, I'm going to get paid. This is what I do. I do it very well. And I collect a very wonderful check for that. But I work hard for my money. And I'm going to demonstrate how hard I work for it every step of this transaction. And that's what I need you to do. I want you to analyze every step of your process and say, where can I really elevate this? How can I make this a 10-star performance instead of a 7, right? How can I make sure that they have the best experience and that we are avoiding pitfalls and problems? Am I being proactive to do that? Right? That's where your value is going to come from. You're going to have some collateral material that's going to say, here's why you need me, because you're going to work on that. This is what some of the things I do. There is a document called 179 Ways. If you Google 179 Ways Realtors, it'll pop up. It's from the National Association of Realtors that says 179 Ways a Realtor works for you or something like that. It's something like that. But I promise you, if you type in 179 Ways a Realtor, it'll pop up as the first thing. Download that document. Make that part of your package that you give to your clients. Or make sure you read over it and insert that in your presentation along the way. But the end of the day, your clients must know that you are not like the other agents they've ever had an experience with in a good way, right? They must know that you have their priorities first and foremost, that what matters to them is what matters to you. They must know that you have a solution and experience to help them avoid things that could go wrong, and that you are proactively going to make sure that you avoid those problems, right? They must know that you're going to partner with people that match and mirror or exceed the level of service that you've already gotten from me, right? And then they must know that you're worth every penny that they're going to be paying you, right? I'm worth every penny, no more, regardless of who pays my fee, the seller or the buyer. I'm worth every penny of that. They need to see that for themselves. And if you look at your process as a whole and ask yourself, is there a way I can do this that is super impressive? Is there a way I can do this that is not lazy, that shows them that I put work and effort behind this? Is there a way that I can roll out the red carpet and really elevate what they're expecting, right? What way can I do that? There's lots of ways you can do that. Some of those are going to take money, right? Some of those have a cost attached to them. If you decide that you want to hire a moving, a packer to come to their house and help them pack, it might cost me $250, but think about what I took off of my client's plate to do that. Is that one less thing that they have to worry about? Are there ways that you can insert things like that? Some of those things may not cost you money. You might yourself go do something to help them. You might, hire a landscaper to come put some mulch out, or, hire a deep cleaner to come through and pay for that yourself. When your buyer buys a house, what kind of services are you providing on their behalf? I'm not telling you to give up all your money and pay for all these things, but I'm telling you, are there things that you can do that really help your client know that I am truly, you need me and you want me on your side, right? Are there things that you're doing that other agents are not doing that separate you from the agents that are still charging the same fee, but their service is nowhere near yours? So I just want you to evaluate each step and say, where can I insert it? What I will do for you guys is I will post the link to the video I recorded earlier in the week about the settlement and what you need to know. Remember, your money is not their focus, is not their priority. Right now, they're worried about your money. What does that mean? Do I have to pay it? They don't understand. But in the terms of the things that they're afraid of and the things that they're concerned about, your money is at the bottom of the list compared to the other fears that they have, right? So I will send you that link, but I will also send you the elevating your service. There's some great suggestions in there of ways that you can really roll out the red carpet that we just didn't have time to dive into today. It's more like a 2-hour class. And so I'll just share with you guys my notes, and you can read through them. And if you have questions, or if you want to give me some feedback on those, I'm happy to share them with you and give them to you. But what I want you to focus on is asking yourself at each step of the way, where can I really make an impact and do something different here? How can I separate myself from the other 26,000 realtors that I'm competing with, right? What is it that going to take to get a 5-star review from this client, and how can I exceed those expectations? Make sense? Any comments or questions, additions? Y'all are just so prepared for the world. I got it. Work on your value
Great.
proposition. Like, make sure that you work on putting together the what makes me unique, or what makes me special, or why you want to hire me. Why do you need a realtor? Make sure your messaging is specifically attracting that, like putting out a series. Don't make a list of 179 and think people are going to read that, but you could put out 10 different pieces of content to say, reason number 1 that you need a realtor. Reason number 2, hey, we're back today to talk about the top 5 reasons you need a realtor, right? You need to educate the people about why you're needed and why you are different than all the other realtors out there. You can insert your value without taking other people down. So I want to make sure I say that to you. You should 100% be able to say what makes you wonderful and incredible without being nasty to other realtors. If you got to step on somebody to get up, you might as well just lay down on the ground yourself, right? Forget it. But you can do this by inserting what makes you unique and special. And you need to make sure you're communicating that, and the messaging to the people, to your people, is that I'm the right one for you, and that you are not going to regret hiring me, right? You made the right choice. You're in good hands. Show them they're in good hands. Demonstrate it. Okay? Thanks for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. Rachel, I'm super glad I got to see your face today. Thank you for being
to
here.
be able to be here. It was super helpful. Lots of great ideas. I appreciate that. Some of them I'm like, I think I kind of do that, and some of them I'm like, never thought about that, but that is awesome. So
Sure. Well, there's a whole bunch more on that list too that I'm sure you have not thought of, but they will definitely help you stand out. So I will share that with you guys. So don't worry. Join me next week. I'm going to work on the Zoom link to make sure you can get in through recoachcrate.zoom.com so that you don't have any problems next week. But I'll be here same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all have a wonderful day. Hi, Holly. Have a good day, sweet pea. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Laura.
See ya.
thank you so much, Laura.